Hey Ariel, happy holidays to you too. So I hope everybody's doing well, and thanks for bearing with me on, starting class a little later today. Um, we're coming in for a landing with our, hopefully, can everybody hear me okay? I guess, let me know if my lips are moving, but you're not hearing me. You can even pop it in the chat to let me know you're hearing me okay. Um, So I am well, and good afternoon to everyone. And I hope you are all doing well, that you found a little time to get some rest in. Okay, great. Thanks, Aria. Some rest or fun during the holiday weekend. We're coming in for a landing. We're toward the end of our semester. And so I want to talk about that a little bit. I want to talk about the um, annotated bibliography that's due on, hold on, Belangen, that's due on Thursday, December 2nd, we're going to begin today talking about the final exam that's going to be from December 15th through the 21st, I believe. Let me just check calendar. Tomorrow's already December 1st. Yes. So those are the three things that we have left that we're going to do this semester together. So the annotated bibliography, this stuff is up. I'm going to just begin by saying, does anybody have questions? We're going to just go over a little bit today, but if anybody has any questions so far.
I have a question, Professor. Just one question. Are you able to at least let us know the grades on the stuff that we have done?
Yes, I think I have two of your other graded assignments that I have to give, and that I have to grade, and there is two of your the and two more. So I'm almost caught up. I have to catch up with my other class, and then I did a little bit of you, but then come back to you and finish your class off. What I can do is, let me look at my calendar before next week, before we meet again.
And I'm sorry, just one more question. I know that I don't know if everybody else's, but I know I had came in maybe like on the second week of classes, and I think I missed only one. I think it was one of the discussions.
Yeah.
Um, is that also graded as well?
Um, I'm not sure about the discussion. Let me actually go over. I'm gonna go. Let me go over that. I'm gonna go with. I think today would be a good day to do that as well. Um, yes. Also, my computer is acting a little weird today with my calendar. It's not letting me see it half the time. It's not your problem. Yes. Um, I'm switching gears. I was gonna make time. Okay, this is what I'll do. I'll do two things. One thing I'll do is so let's do two things. One is by Friday, I will be done with grading and send each of you a report, right? Um, and I'll just let me let Aminiel and David in. Two more people so that I don't have to repeat it. All right, welcome to the class, David. Aminiel is still signing, is having trouble coming in. Aminel. All right, so I'll just continue. So I'll do two things. Good afternoon, David. So by Friday, you will all get like an email. I was just thinking about it because I need help someone putting it together. So you just basically will get an email with like your grade update. So you'll see what assignments you completed, what assignments you're missing, what grade you have. With this class, I will give you up until December, what's the date, to make anything up. December 2nd is when your last assignment will be due. Yes, so we'll say, why don't we make it the 14th? Yeah, we'll do it on the 14th. So December 14th will be the last day you could submit, which is actually the day after the last day of class, official class, would be, okay. So the 14th of December will be the deadline for you to submit anything that you're missing. You will know what you're missing by December. I mean, you can look at your thing in Blackboard and see what you submitted and didn't submit, but I'll send you a little report, and in the report will be that. On Monday, I will also, when I send you the report, I'll send you a block of time on Monday if any of you want to meet with me before we meet in class on Tuesday, that we can make a block of time to meet on Monday and then go over anything. And then that way you'll know by the 14th, you have to submit any missing work, any revisions or missing work will be by the 14th. And then we should be good, right? But the report will let you know, so that way we're both on the same page. That's what's good. So you can see everything that I have and everything that you have. Now, let me go. I'm not sharing my screen yet. Final. I'm just going to our class, my gradebook, so that I could look at all that, because I have to get all that together for our class, the grades and attendance and all that stuff. Okay. So with our class, you have they're great. You have graded essays and grade the formal assignments, and you have graded essays that are the lesser assignments. And so there are 4 essays that you have, and so the top 3 grades will be the grades that go to that. And of your assignments, like the salvation summary, the how did I read summary, the single story response, the white rage response, the truth response. So those that you've received grades on, of those assignments, the 3 of the 6 will comprise the top 3 grades that you get. So this way you'll see what you have, right? And then the rest of it is just participation, the final, and the annotated bibliography. And the challenge with the annotated bibliography, say challenge, and the final is that they both come up. The annotated bibliographies due this week, and the reason is because that'll give me, if I get it Thursday, it gives me the weekend to grade it, and that way you'll have it before we meet on Tuesday. And if you want to do a revision of it, you can do a revision. Now, why am I talking about revisions? Because if the annotated bibliography is 20% of your grade, and it has a big impact, if you don't do it, it drops 20% of your grade. And if you're, I know this is an English class, but we'll do math for 5 seconds. You know, like if your grade is 100% and you did great, and you did great work, and 100%, you did all the assignment, right? And you did A's, then you would get an A, right? If you did great work. But if you did great work and you got A's on everything, but you don't do your annotated bibliography, your grade percentage drops 20%. So even if you got A's on all your essays and you don't do the annotated bibliography, then that would, by missing an assignment like that, it would be the equivalent of an F, not doing the assignment, and it drops 20%. So the highest grade you can get would be like a B minus. And so it's a shame that you worked hard through the whole semester, getting your assignments done and getting them in and getting good grades, and then not to do that, or if you don't take the final exam and don't complete that, then that also has an impact on your grade. So, so just that's why I'm giving some space. I think last week I gave space for us to just focus on the annotated bibliography, right? And so that way you could didn't have I think a additional set essay we were going to do. I think that's what we did in this class, and so just to give you an opportunity to catch up, because I know, I mean, I'm like too, it takes me a while to grade papers, and I'm behind on it, and I know you have other classes and stuff like that, so I want to give you the space at least now at the end of the semester to try to finish up and catch up, so you can get the best grade possible in the class and move on to 111 for next semester.
Professor?
Okay, yeah, no, Victor, it's okay. Monday, December 3rd. Okay, we can ask about that in a second.
I will let the students speak, and then I'll speak a little bit more of that. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Professor?
Yeah, David.
Professor?
David, you have
Do you teach the next English class going up?
say that again?
Do you teach the next English class going up?
Oh, English 111, I do teach it.
I couldn't find you when I was signing up for classes.
No, actually, I'm sorry, David, I'm not teaching it next semester.
Oh my God.
I'm normally teaching for next semester. They have me teaching this class again, and they have me teaching the creative writing workshop. Different. So
The next semester, creative workshop.
yeah, the creative writing class I'm doing next semester. Yeah, so normally well, let's see what happens. I mean, honestly.
So I'm sorry, Professor. So you don't do 101 classes for English?
Which right now we have what do you mean, English 111?
Yeah.
Yeah, I do.
Is
Normally,
that the next one up?
say it again.
Is the English 111 the next one up?
Yeah, after this, you all go to
Okay.
111. You register for 111. Yeah, I normally teach. I'm teaching 111 now. Those are my other classes that I teach. Usually, it's I usually normally don't teach this class. I haven't taught this class in like 2 years, and so I was glad to have the chance to teach it again. And they're gonna have me teach.
I'm so sorry, Professor. Again, I'm sorry to cut you off. So if when we have to do class 111, so you will be on the roster to get that class?
I'm not on the roster for next semester. You know, and I can't say that the following semester I will be on it, because sometimes, you know, I mean, I could ask for classes, but they give me what needs to be done. So, and I'm good with it. But next semester, I know I'm saying, I mean, I don't know if you've all registered already, but there's a lot of, you know, I am registered for, I'm teaching the creative writing as a asynchronous class, and that filled up. It was full like 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago. That class was maxed. And the class of yours that I'm teaching, I'm actually teaching in person next semester. I'm going to be teaching 100 in person. And for weeks, there's been 1 student, and then just I checked over the weekend, there's 2 students. So hopefully they'll run it. But if not, they may run it as an online class, or they may have me teach something else. So they're waiting to see what the enrollment is. But I really urge you, if you want me to recommend other 111 teachers that you want, I mean, I'm happy to keep working with you in a future thing. I would say that. I will also encourage you to, and I'm only saying this from past experience, that because I've had students that skip a semester and then wait to take 111. I encourage you to take 111 next semester if you can, if you're able to, because it's best to, right after doing this with me, that you go right into 111 next semester and not have a semester in between. You know, if you have to, for whatever reasons, then you have to. But if you have the opportunity to do it, do that. Okay. Victor.
Yeah. Hello, everyone. So the 13th is my birthday, and I'll be having some stuff lined up that my significant other has already like done for me. So I have things for that day, so I'm not unavailable. but next week and this week I am available. So please, if my schedule on the WC doesn't work for you, then email me. We can schedule something outside of that time. But do remember and also understand that we have to, especially at this point, schedule things ahead of time, a few days or whatever, only because I also have other students from my the other class that I tutor making schedules with me today for this week. So, we need to be doing things a little early. That way, I'm not receiving an email on Sunday like I did this Sunday, wanting a session for like 1 o'clock when the email was sent at 12. And it's like, how am I supposed to, like work with you on that? So definitely, and with the Writing Center especially, if you want to schedule with them, do it now, because as papers starts being given and students get, deep into their drafts, they're booking. So it gets a little competitive to book at this point, but definitely do so. I want to see as many people as I possibly can. And this also may be my last semester. So I want to help as many people as possible. So definitely, email me, shout out, do whatever you can. And yeah, thank you.
Yep, last semester, meaning you're gonna go to a different school or move on, Victor, to a different.
So I've been looking into working for a few nonprofits. Sorry, I just fell. Working for a few nonprofits, and I have a couple interviews lined up this week, and the week and next week. And it seems very promising. One of the nonprofits. If anyone wants to know, I'll be a intake manager for a foster care organization.
Social work. That's intense. Okay, so then just to recap some of the stuff, so what we'll do is next week, on Friday, you'll get your report, and the report will include the grading and your grade report, and then if anyone, yes, there's that applause for Victor. Yes, happy birthday. Yeah, that's cool. And then if anybody wants to meet with me to discuss the grade report before next class, I'm gonna, in the link, I'll send a time on Monday when I'll just have open office hours, and you can, just like send me a note, say I'd like to come and talk to you in case you have any questions. And then just keep in mind, if you need, once you get all your stuff graded, I get all your stuff graded this week. If Victor needs to, if you need to make an appointment with Victor, just give Victor a couple of days. Heads up. Okay. All right. So I want to switch gears to two things, and one is the annotated bibliography. So just to make sure, let's just 1 second before I share my screen. So maybe let me just ask: does anybody have any questions or thoughts about the annotated bibliography that you wanted me to?
Yes, Professor, I have a question.
Yes.
Maybe it's like a dumb question, right? But last week was really busy with all the holidays and everything. For this essay is due on Thursday, right?
Yeah.
Where do we get all the information? Because I didn't see anything on Blackboard.
Okay, so let me show you. That's what okay. Let me share my screen. So I'm going to use Victor. That was Miguel speaking, right? Because I was not.
Sorry.
So I'm going to use
Yes,
Miguel.
Professor.
Okay,
Yes.
that was Miguel's question to just review everything so that we're on the same page. Okay, so if you go into our, I'm in the class, you go into course content, the first thing you see is annotated bibliography. And so the things that are in here are the overview of the annotated bibliographies, and I'm going to click that. And that is, 1 second, I'm going to show you the doc. that's this document that really goes over just kind of the definition of it, goes over the beginnings of the formatting of it, and at the very end as links on how to format the annotated bibliography. So remember, the annotated bibliography is two main pieces, right? If this is doing more of a research project, you would have to find these things. You would have to go and do research on them. But right now, this basically is a exercise on formatting and summary, right? So you're going to be doing two main activities with this. You're going to be organizing the information, you know, the actual texts, the works that you're doing, so the articles, the essays, etc. You're going to be listing them with information like the title, the author, the publisher, etc. And then you're going to do a summary of each one, right? And so that's what the first handout is discussing. The next are details on the assignments, right? So that's the next thing in the file folder. And again, it's on the course content, right? So in there is the assignment. So this semester we read the essays and speeches. Well, I'm just go from the top, right? The annotated bibliography, the assignment. It's the idea. The topic is self-determination and combating negative portrayals of people of color, immigrants, and queer people, right? That's the assignment. So if you were working in a class and this is a topic the professor gave you, you would take that topic and you would formulate a thesis statement off of that. So we did that work because I want you to just focus on annotating it. I'll show you in a second. So the explanation of the semester, we read the essays and speeches, White Rage, A Talk to Teachers, and Ain't I a Woman by Sojourner Truth. They all spoke of some ways of the ways in which American society views and devalues Black lives, right? These three. The essay, Latino Visibility and Legacy of Power and Love by Charles Rice-Gonzalez, and the Washington Post article, The News Media Usually Shows Immigrants as Dangerous Criminals, That's Changed for Now at Least, by Emily Farris and Heather Silver Muhammad, add to the conversation of how other groups are seen in America. Explain what the negative points of view about each of the populations in America that this collection of articles is sharing, and how are those views are being contradicted or changed. Now, don't worry too much about all this stuff, because this is, if you were actually going to be writing the paper, this is information. This could be a paper that you decide to write, and so maybe most of the groundwork is done for you. But you're going to take this, the first step in creating this paper, if you were writing the full paper, would be doing the annotated bibliography. So instructions for your annotated bibliography. Your annotated bibliography should include 5 sources. I'm going to show you the 5 sources. Each summary or annotation should be 5 to 7 sentences. Your paper should follow MLA format, and your assignments due by 11:59 p.m. on Thursday this week, right? So the second document, first document is the overview of annotated bibliography. Second document explains the assignment, right? The elements, the ideas behind the assignment. Then we have a sample of an annotated bibliography here, and I'm going to hit the PDF of it. So you can physically see what one looks like. And I'm going to open it in a minute. As soon as it loads. Cool. Right? And so what I did in the sample, right? You would see this. This is what yours should look like. It should physically look like this. You don't have to use the same font. You can use Arial, but you know, you're welcome to use this font too. So it's what you've been doing all semester. Your name here, my name, the course number, right? Date, the month of the year, your last name, and the page number, and that goes on every page. In this case, we have the topic, right? Next, we have the thesis statement, right? And this is one in Essays and Speeches by Carol Anderson, James Baldwin, Charles Rice-Gonzalez, Sojourner Truth, and a newspaper article by Emily Farris and Heather Silver Muhammad. The writers demonstrate the negative points of view about different populations of people in America and how those views are being contradicted or changed, right? And so if you were writing your paper, that's what you would be showing. So here, now these of course are not your pieces. This is the work you have to do, right? But your art, so you would write annotated bibliography, and then you would list your work. So this would be like the first work you would do and the summary you're going to write. It'll be the next work you're going to do, you're going to put in, right? And the summary of that work. The next work, right? And the summary, right? and then this one has 5. This is 5 different works, and so your paper will look and should be more or less this length. Think of things to consider, and I'll make it a little bigger so you can see it bigger on the screen, and I'll make myself smaller or smaller here, right? It follows the same format. Everything is double spaced, right? There's an extra space here and an extra space there and an extra space there, but otherwise everything is uniformly double spaced, right? That you can tell the difference between there's more space here and that, so there's an extra space in there. So it's uniformly double spaced. The first part is the actual entry, and the entry you see is aligned with the left margin here, right? So align with the left margin, and the works are in a particular order. But let's just notice that that's the first thing. The work is here, and it's on the left margin, and then this is a hanging indent, right? In last class, we showed you how to do a hanging indent, but you do a hanging indent, which is that reverse than a regular paragraph. Because a regular paragraph, the very first line is indented and everything underneath it is on the margin, right? If I could see if I have something in here, I could. Oh, let me see if I could. Trying to find it here. We go. This is a normal paragraph, a regular paragraph. The first line is indented, and then all the subsequent lines are on the margin, right? With the annotated bibliography, it's reverse, right? This is on the margin, and the lines underneath it for the work itself are indented, right? If you can see this entry, the same thing. It's all the way on the margin, the hill part, and then all of this is part of the information that goes with the entry. It's indented, hanging indent. So the lines following it do that. Now, the actual summary, right, that you see is indented, is a second indent in. So it's indented further, and it's all uniform. I think last time we were indenting, I was showing you to indent this. That was the new MLA 9 doesn't have that indentation. So it's like that. So each entry should look like this, right? The work itself, followed by a summary, right? Again, the work itself, followed by a summary, right? Work itself, and see some of these, them in information depending on the work. There's sometimes more lines or less lines. The very first one was just this. The second one was more, it's like almost 5 lines altogether, and then the summary. Okay. So the other thing I'm gonna now, since I'm looking at the sample, is that there is this particular order that this comes in, right? And then you're noticing it's usually like last name, first name of the author. Then this is a book, right? And it has the title is italicized. This is the publisher, right? With this information on this one, don't follow it too much because I'm noticing it's not the most current version of LA. But what is useful is that it's usually the name, the person's last name, first name that hasn't changed. If it's the title of a book right away, that's italicized, doesn't come, I know that, or it could be a magazine. And then the publisher usually has the year as well. Here's another one, Hill David, right, last name, first name. Here's quotations, because I'm gonna guess this is an article and it's in a journal. And so usually articles or magazine articles, newspaper articles, they will get quotation marks, and then the name of the magazine or newspaper that they're in gets put after that in italics. This one's that goes the volume, the number, the year, the page, the where they got it from, and then this is a link, right? Because they most likely got this from an online source, and they include the link. That's when you keep seeing the link in places because they most likely got the information from an online source. So when you get that, that's one of the things you have to put in. Okay. So this is a sample of what yours would look like. And I go to the top, the name, top. This will be the same. You can copy and paste this into your paper, right? This part you should copy and paste into your paper. Of course, write your name on that, and then write annotated bibliography and begin listing the sources. Okay, so that's the third item. So we had the overview, right? That details on the assignment. We have a sample bibliography where you have information you can copy and paste, not the items. And then I added just this article on how to summarize an article, which is something we did. I hand out an article that we did in class together as we were learning to or practicing summary, doing your summary assignments. This gives you an idea in case you're like, oh wait, I know we talked about summary, but what exactly do I have to do? So this will give you the overview that we looked in class about reading the material, identifying the main topic, identifying and make a list of the key points. Write the summary in your own words, right? Edit and cut what's unnecessary, and then gives you a couple of examples of summaries. But you've all done summaries, and from what I remember, I think some were good. I remember we did an exercise in class last time together about crafting a summary, and so, but this is in there just in case you need it as a resource and you need some. It's all there. Then there's a second resource, and that was submitted to us or offered to us by Victor at the last class, the Reading Center handout on summary, right? Finding the main idea. So I included that because more help is better than less help, right? And so I'm going to open that one. And this one also offers some good ideas and some good advice and some guidelines and guidance on what is the main idea, how to find the main idea, how to formulate it, and it's a useful tool to help you build summary. And it's it's short and it gives you examples, and I felt it was very useful for us as well. So thanks again to Victor for giving that to us. And then now we have the works. These are the 5 works that you're going to do that are going to be in your bibliography. So you're going to read each of these, right? And 3 of them you've already read and written about and done stuff. These 2 you haven't, so you'll read these 2. And they're both not very long. I think the Latino visibility one is about maybe 3 or 4 pages long, and the news media one is about the same, I think a little longer, but I'm going to open them in a minute. So you're going to read each piece, you're going to summarize them, or I think with A&I Woman, we worked on the summary in class. We did a summary as an assignment. So you have a couple of opportunities to do that. And then, and these articles, you've written about these as well. So you would read this, write a summary of it. Read this one, write a summary of it. And that's what will make up your annotated bibliography. So these 3, the first 3, Ain't I a Woman, A Talk to Teachers by Baldwin, and White Rage by Carol Anderson, you've all read. So this one, I'm going to open it up just so we could see it. Click it open. This is an essay I wrote several years ago, but I'll just talk a little bit about it. You should be able to read it. And it's called Latino. They did this visibility. The editors do that. I'll talk to you about editors in the future. Well, I'll just tell it now. Different journals have writing style, and so they always adapt your work to their writing style, and they happen to use Latino/A, Latina. That I think I had wrote Latinx, but it was too. They weren't down with it yet. It was 2016. So essentially, this one begins talking about the massacre in Orlando. I don't know if you all remember that happened that year or the year before, the Pulse massacre. And it's part a personal essay and part it's like 3 pages, so it's short. And it's part personal essay and it's part a little bit of historical context. And so that's this one that you need to read. And then the second one, that's the new one, you need to read and summarize is this one, the media shows immigrants as dangerous. This is a Washington Post article and it really talks about immigrants. So you just have to read this one as well. You see it's not that long and summarize it, okay? And then that should be your annotated bibliography. So you have all the pieces, all the information, and oh wait, on the it's all right. So you have the pieces of information, and 1 second, I want to Umu, yes, you have your hand.
I have a question. The annotation is those articles that you listed, or is other article the I don't know how to say.
Those 5 articles,
Oh, okay. I
right?
thought is different article that um uh, I'm not sure.
Yeah, so no, just to be clear, so the 5 articles that I gave you are the 5 articles that there's one piece I left out in our the instruction that I'm gonna go to right now. But the 5 articles, it's those 5 articles, right? So you have to write summaries of those 5 articles, right? Because some of them you've already read, and then you have to organize the information from each article, like the author, the title, and that's the piece that I left off when I was just doing that whole explanation, but I'm gonna go back to it.
Okay.
Is that clear?
Before I thought it was the one that contradict those articles
Yeah.
that we have to do.
Yeah, like you have to find something that contradicts them. You're talking about, you have to find new articles. Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's like, I know we're calling it a research project because there should have been a research component, but given I think there's like to do research, I think most of the time when you go to 111, you're going to be doing you're going to actually have to do research. I have my class do research, do a research paper. It's kind of organized a little differently, but they have to go to the library. I do a library workshop with them. You know, we go to that, and there's a process by which to do research. And there's something technical about this writing in terms of like summaries and annotated bibliographies. But the technical writing actually also offers a course on technical writing, but as an elective. But this technical aspect of academic papers and academic writing, the idea of works cited pages of bibliographies and annotated bibliographies are an important learning part. So I wanted to be able to have you all do an annotated bibliography. So you don't have to find more articles. If you're inspired and you want to find another article, go right ahead. But I think right now it's important for you to be able to get the formatting done and to get the summary down, and that's what weighs the most. So let me just keep track of time. So we're good. Because I also want to talk about the essay for the final exam today, so just to give you all a heads up of the things I'm attempting to get done today. Joshua.
My question is, right, because sometimes when you're doing like annotating bibliography, I know that some people add links to it. I don't know if that's something that you wanted us to also add into it or no, just like where it came from and the source, and that's it.
Well, if like with these, technically the Washington Post one, right? Because it's so if you think of the information for the annotation, right? That the idea is that you would need to that whoever's reading the paper would be able to go to that source to find it, right? And so that's why with the internet ones, they include the link so the person can just go to the link and find the
Right.
source. If it's a book, right, or if it's a magazine, if it was like for instance, that journal, the journal that I'm in, I think only exists as a journal. right? It doesn't, I don't know if there's an online component. So if you wanted to go look at that article and you wanted to go look at that journal, you'd have to go to a library and look at the paper, or unless they have some PDF that exists of it. So that's why the link's there. So technically the link, the Washington Post one, I think I included the link on the Washington Post one.
Okay, and I just wanted to make sure, because you know how sometimes it opens up, for me it opens up as a PDF online, so it like is like a link. So I just wanted to make sure that that's not added to it.
Yeah, yeah, you don't, I mean, at this point for these, you don't. I mean, let's see, the truth one, it's a handout I created, but it comes from someplace. I'm gonna give you also, let me just, hold on for 1 second. Let me just go to our class. So also, I mean, if you, one of the things that I do is, and so in our syllabus, I include the information for the annotation, like the information for the works cited, right? So so if you look at if you look at our syllabus, you're going to see some of these articles. You're not going to see the immigrant one, because that one is new. But let me go to that place. As for bibliography, start with a quick thesis and then write the name of the author. If you want to, Nahom, if you want to write your own thesis based on the topic, feel free. In the sample of the MLA, I gave you one, which you're welcome to use for it. That's what I say, you can copy and paste it, but if you'd like to craft one your own, I'm not going to stop you. I think you should do that. But I really want you also to be able to get the formatting down, the summary down, and include the correct information on the annotated bibliography. So, yes, I did, Nahom. So let me show you all once again, because I think I'm going to share my screen again. So this is our syllabus. So in our syllabus, these are all the texts that I use, and I have to put them in MLA. Like if we were using Danger of a Single Story, it's all here, right? Here's Carol Anderson's here. We did Do Al-Zadua this year. Baldwin's there. We did this one. That's not part of it. Nicholas Carr. This is the Colin Powell story. So most of the what we looked at this semester, How to Get Your Mind to Read, Sojourner Truth. There's several other works that are here that we didn't work on this semester, but most of the information's here. But in your handouts, let me close this. Close this. In your annotated bibliography assignment, in addition to the formatting of the page, you know, like type your page using Google Docs or Word, double space it, fonts, all that stuff. Move this out of the way. There's these two links that give you information. This gives you the link on how to organize, how to do organized for all of them. Here's the periodical. So this is the one that you're all using. Right, a periodical, a journal, magazine, or newspaper should be in quotation marks. It tells you. So it tells you the order here. So right, so this is the author's name. You see the journals in quotation marks. The name of the journal is next. Here, the title, the volume, the number, the year, the page numbers. Right, so that's what for the magazines and newspapers, it's similar information, but of course, magazines and newspapers don't have volumes and numbers, so they wouldn't have all of that. But here at the top, it tells you the order. I use this term, the source and container. Sources are the titles of the magazine. Containers, title of the article, sorry, in the magazine or the essay, and the title, the journal is the containers of title of the journal or the magazine or the newspaper or the anthology or something like that. There's an order and an organization. So there's two links in your handout. There's that one, how to format an article from Periodical. I just showed you that, and then just here, the second link. I can just go to it from here. Oh, there we go. That I think it's. I copied it correctly. It did. Somehow there it didn't work, but when I did it, when I copied and pasted the link, this gives us the basic and general rules on citing, on citation. But the first one takes you directly to the this is, if you haven't really visited the site, this is the Purdue OWL. It gives lots of resources on MLA, etc. And this is talking about works cited pages and all kinds of stuff. And it shows you, how to do formatting. And so a lot of this stuff, you don't have to memorize, but you have to know where to get the information when you need it. Right, and so Purdue is one of the places. You can always Google as well. All right, I'm going to pause. Let me check the chat. See if there's yes, yes. Okay, I showed. All right, yes. So Nahum wants me to show one more time where I go here and here sample. Right, so it's in a PDF and a Word doc. Let me open it in Word so you can see in my Word document, just to be different. So in your version, right, when you do your assignment and you look at this sample, right, of course, you're not going to hand me a paper that says your name. Instructor's going to actually say Nahum, right, Hagos, right, or your name here. Then it's going to be my name is going to replace instructor name. The course will be English 100-409, and of course the day, month, year that you do it. So on your paper that you submit, all this will be changed and filled in. The part you can keep the same is this part, the topic and the thesis statement, unless, like I said, if somebody wants to redraft the thesis statement based on the article and the instruction, the topic and instructions, you can do so. Otherwise, this section here, even that, you can copy and paste into yours. Now, of course, all of this will be different. These part will be the 5 articles that you will be putting into this annotated bibliography. So these will be replaced by, I can't remember the first one, maybe it's Baldwin, James, A Talk to Teachers, the book it comes from, the year, etc. And then the summary. And the next one is, I don't know what the next one is, Rice, Truth, Baldwin, Anderson, maybe, and Carol Anderson. Anderson will be first. So that's the other thing, that these should be in alphabetical order. I think that's on your guidelines. See, that's like the first, they're alphabetized by the last name, the first letter in the line. So here's Cooper, here's Hill, CH, here's Holly, that H M-U-L-L-I-H-O, Mullen. And this one doesn't have an author, but it's the first letter, which is lightning sky. So it goes, it's actually not right. Lightning safety. That actually is in the wrong spot. That should be here because the L comes before M. But this should be, yours will be in alphabetical order, right? So that's what it should be. So now home, this is the part here that you can copy and paste, and that is in the, that is the sample. Okay. Wait, were you? I'm sorry, I was doing all that and I wasn't even sharing my screen. So, this is the Purdue site that I was telling you about. I can't remember now if you saw it or not. And the periodical is the one that you need here, right? So it's telling you that's the last name, first name, you know, it's and we have, this is the name of the article, this is the name of the journal that it's in, volume number, etc. So this is one. You know, sometimes you could also, if you can't find Google, can't find Purdue, you can always go to Google, right? So I'm going to go to Google, and you can say, even if you're in another class, you can say, how do you cite a newspaper in LA, right? And it brings you to Purdue, of course, but there are other sources that can lead you to how to do that, right? And if you click it, so here, article in a magazine, right? Article in a newspaper. This is actually stronger, right? So it's telling you, it gives you the order here, the author, right? Which enables last name, first name, the title of the work, title of the container, which means, you know, the name article of the magazine, the title of the magazine. If it's self-contained, if it's a book, right? So there's no, this won't be two. Other contributors, right? So the main author goes here. And then if there's more than other contributors, we add them afterward, unless it's an article by two authors, and then they both go here, last name, first name with the first one, and then the last one is the regular first name, last name. Then this is version of edition, publisher, the publisher date. So this is the order of everything, but not everything has everything. So if it's a newspaper, they don't have a version or edition or something like that. You know, they may not have that. Maybe we just don't, right? But there will be a publisher date, there'll be a New York Time, you know, I mean a date. And then it's giving you, if there's a second container, there's more, but you won't need all of this for the other ones because I know that the articles I gave you don't require all of that. But here it gives you examples like the author, the title of the article, right? Title, periodical, day, month, year, and pages at the very least. So here, there's the title of the article, it's the newspaper, month, day, year, the pages. Gives you that article in the newspaper, same thing, it breaks it down for you. A review, you have to worry about that, but editorial letter. So it gives you a lot more examples than you need. I'm gonna copy it because we need that one should be. But that's the other component that I was not showing you. And then the home, you were asking about where the sample. I'm going to open it, file, open. Right, and let me actually go to the thing again. So here on the sample annotated bibliography, you click any of these, I'll click the Word one, just so we can see what it looks like in Word. And saying before, of course, the one you submit to me, this part is the part you can copy and paste the topic and the thesis statement. Although if you want to recraft the thesis statement, you're welcome to do that. And this will be populated not with the words your name, but it will be with your actual name, not the words instructor's name, but my name will be there. The course number will be English 400, 100-409A, and then the day, month, year, and that's for your last name. But this for your paper can be copied and pasted up into the annotated bibliography, and all of this stuff will be your articles, right? Will be the articles that you will annotate and organize here. So one of the things to look at that I was saying is that this should be in alphabetical order, right? Cooper, Hill, Holly, etc. Okay. All right. So Umu, is that a check that you had something to ask, or it's just a check mark that you got it? Right. Any other questions for the annotated?
Yeah, I got a question.
Yes.
So when we write our articles, you said we have to do it in order. So do we have to so will we start whoever last name is B, we have to start with their article first and write the summary about them first?
Well, that's the order that has to be appear in the annotated bibliography, right?
So it has to be like that, right?
Yes.
Okay. So we can't start with the first one, with Ain't I a Woman by Truth. We can't start with that one, right? We have to go in order.
Right. When you're doing your summary, you can summarize them however you want in whatever order. But when you actually put them on the page, they have to be in alphabetical order.
In order, but by the author's name, right? Whichever one has to come first. Okay, got it. All right, thank you.
By the last name. Yeah.
Oh, by the last name. Okay, yeah, got it. Okay.
I'm also one more. So what you just showed us, would it be on Blackboard?
Yes.
Okay.
What I showed you is from Blackboard. So when you go to Blackboard, so there's two main areas we've been using: the course content and the discussions. Discussions is where you put up your assignments. So after this class, I'm going to open up a discussion so that those of you who, once you have your annotation done, you just upload it to Blackboard under the discussions. But the instructions, the articles, the guidelines, everything is in the course content tab. So the very first tab you're going to see is that one. All right, more questions? Ask why you got me. You got me here.
It's not up yet, right? The bibliography, whatever thingy.
Say it again.
It's not up yet, right? Because I can't find it.
What is up is everything I just showed you. So if you go to course content, you will see everything in course content, right? What's not up is in discussions, the place you will upload once you're completed your annotated bibliography. You will upload it to the discussions page, and I'm going to open that up after class. Is that what you're asking, David?
Yes. Yes. Okay, I got it. Thank you, Professor. Oh, sorry,
Miguel, and then Umu.
Yeah. If we don't find the links, and if we cannot put it there, it's okay if we don't find the link.
What link are you referring to?
Yeah, the links that you show us, that you said to put it there in the annotated bio.
You can say like that. I used to have trouble with that word too, because it's like bibliography.
Bibliography. Yeah, I mean, if we cannot find the link to attach it to that subject, is that okay?
Yeah, I'm not sure what link you're talking about, because I think, but I think if you're talking about for the annotation, yes, you're not going to fail or lose points if you don't have the link. How about if I say that? I mean, the only one that should have a link would be the newspaper article, because I think, or maybe the truth one. But like I said, the tip is for you to go to the syllabus, because most of the or information is on the syllabus. You will have to construct the magazine one, because that one is not on the syllabus. But most of the information is on the syllabus for the annotation. But remember, make sure that you indent it, that you do all that stuff, and that the paper looks the way the sample looks, in terms of formatting. Okay. All right, Umu, you have a question?
Yes. I still didn't get the page that you showed us here.
Page?
The sample of how to do the biography.
What do you mean you don't
Yeah.
okay?
Is it possible that you go back to that page? I'm gonna show you my question.
Go to the sample page?
Yes,
Okay. This one?
yes. Okay. When you come to the annotation biography here,
This
okay,
here?
down here, the copy.
All right, Cooper,
Yes.
Mary Ann. Mhm.
Okay. This is it similar to the article that we are summarizing,
No,
or is
this is for something else.
so
The similarity is in the formatting. Similarity is that yours would be, we just discovered, if we do it in alphabetical order, the first one's going to be Carol Anderson. So this is going to say Anderson, Carol, White Rage, the book that it comes from, the title, all the information here will be for Carol Anderson's White Rage. And then the summary is going to be the summary of the article White Rage. Is that what you're asking?
yes.
Okay, and then the next one will be whatever the next one is in alphabetical order. If it's Baldwin, then it'll be Baldwin, I talk to teachers, and then a summary of Baldwin. Then it's the next one, whatever the next one. In alphabetical order, they'll be listed on your annotated bibliography.
Okay.
Right. So the similarity is that it's formatting and that this is a summary, but that's a summary of this article. You're going to write a summary of the article of our articles.
Okay, this is okay. The summary is from this article that you put up here, right?
It's from, yes, it'll be from these. If I go to Blackboard, these are the 5 articles that you will summarize and include in your bibliography.
Okay.
Okay. You're welcome. I just made it bigger. So these 5, right? And I just keep pointing out that these 3 you've read. Those 3 we've used in our class this semester. And you've actually written a summary of one of them, that one on top. Okay. All right, any more questions with that? Okay. So, so the last thing, Victor.
And I just wanted to sing your praises a little bit for that assignment. I think it's very well structured, and I also think all the materials the students have on the Blackboard are very helpful, because I know the first time I did an annotated bibliography, I struggled and I had to rewrite it multiple times. So yeah, I just wanted to sing your praises a little bit. I think that was very well structured.
Thank you, Victor. Thanks a lot. Good, and that's why I want to make sure that you have access to it and that it's clear that you don't have questions, because I know that we all often have a different experience when we're sitting in classroom and the professor is explaining, and then we go home and we sometimes need to re-find everything. So I was trying to make it as accessible as possible. So so the last thing that we will do together this semester after you submit your annotated bibliography is the final exam. And we actually won't be together when you do it, because final exam week begins after our last class. So our last official class will be next Tuesday, whatever that date is. Today is November 1st, so that's probably December 7th. So December 7th will be the last day that we will have class together. And so what we're going to focus on that class is we're going to work on the final exam. So there's a couple things I want to do today. I'm going to tell you what it is. So the final exam, I know, yes, David. The final exam is an exam that all of the English 100s and all the English 110s are taking. So it's a standard examination, right? and then we have a choice of 1 or 2 articles. I chose an article that is aligning a little more with the work we have been doing this semester, and it's a Martin Luther King speech. So let me just open it up. This is the other one about suffering, and they were both. The committee did not pick happy articles for us to work with for the final exam, but so I selected Martin Luther King speech because it's at least, it seems to thematically fit with at least the second half of the class. The first half was us taking our parents to college and us, you know, dealing with the immigrant experience and reading about Google and reading about Colin Powell and being a kid in the Bronx and, you know, like I said, how to get our minds to read and all that. And the second half of the class was really looking at these texts that kind of question who we are as people living in this country and how do we learn from our leaders who worked hard and made sacrifices so that we could have better and different lives, right? That we can go to college as women, that we can go to college as, you know, as Black people, you know, as people of color, that we have access to the same things that everybody in this country are given the right to have, right? So, so one of the offerings is this speech on Martin Luther King, this writing on Martin Luther King, and so what I'm going to do is, in just the time remaining, just bear with me, I'm going to read it, read the first half to you, the first 2 pages, so we can hear the voice. Your homework after you do your annotation is to read this article, and for next class, for your own benefit, right, is to also write a summary of this article for next class. It's not going to be graded. It's just something for you, an exercise for you to do in preparation for the final exam. So 3 ways of meeting oppression. And oppression, just to define oppression, is when someone creates a condition, a situation, or sometimes a system that prevents someone from advancing forward. So an example of oppression, they talk about voter suppression, right? Or oppression right now is that there was a time in America where certain people could not vote. Women were some of those people that couldn't vote at a certain time in America. There were also there was a moment in America where Black people couldn't vote. In America, there's different times in America when there were some laws that were in place that prevented people from moving forward, where these communities, these people were oppressed, right? They could not move forward. And so, and there was a lot of movement, a lot of work, a lot of activism that was done to educate the world and educate particularly our society, so that people understood, you know, we could do this too. Victor, I see your hand.
Oh, my apology. My hand was just up from before.
Before, okay. So, so this article, I'm just going to read a little bit of it. Let me share my screen so we can take a look at it. So, so you can see it as we read. So I want you to read it and write a summary for next class. And again, this summary is going to be more for your benefit in preparation for the final exam. I'm just letting you know that. Okay, here we go. 3 ways of meeting oppression, right? Of meeting it, right? By Martin Luther King. Oppressed people deal with their oppression in 3 characteristic ways. One way is acquiescence. The oppressed resign themselves to their doom. Acquiescence is another word of giving in, like giving in, going along with, right? They tacitly adjust themselves to oppression and thereby become conditioned to it. In every movement toward freedom, some of the oppressed prefer to remain oppressed. And almost 2,800 years ago, Moses set out to lead the children of Israel from slavery of Egypt to the freedom of the promised land. He soon discovered that slaves did not always welcome their deliverers. They became accustomed to being slaves. They would rather bear those ills they have, as Shakespeare pointed out, than flee to the others that they know not of. That comes from Shakespeare, from Hamlet. I mean, it is Shakespeare from Hamlet, the idiot. They prefer the flesh pots of Egypt to the ordeals of emancipation. There is such a thing as the freedom of exhaustion. Some people who are so worn down by the yoke of oppression that they give up. A few years ago, in the slums areas of Atlanta, a Negro guitarist used to sing almost daily, "Been down so long that down don't bother me." This is the type of negative freedom and resignation that engulfs the life of the oppressed. But this is not the way out. To accept passively an unjust system is to cooperate with that system. Thereby, the oppressed become as evil as the oppressor. Non-cooperation with evil is as much a moral obligation as is cooperation with good. The oppressed must never allow the conscience of the oppression to slumber. Religion reminds every man that he is his brother's keeper. To accept injustice or segregation passively is to say that the oppressor, that his actions are morally right. It is a way of allowing his conscience to fall asleep. At this moment, the oppressed fails to be his brother's keeper. So acquiescence, while often the easier way, is not the moral way. It is the way of the coward. The Negro cannot win the respect of his oppressor by acquiescing. He merely increases the oppressor's arrogance and contempt. Acquiescence is interpreted as proof of the Negro's inferiority. The Negro cannot win the respect of white people in the South or the people of the world if he is willing to sell the future of his children for his personal and immediate comfort and safety. And I'll stop there. He goes on to the second way and explains it, does a third way and explains it, and says some more. So, so I encourage you to read it. Next week we will dive into it. You should do a summary of it, so we can do that in the first half of the class. We'll take care of business, we'll do grading, we'll do all that kind of stuff. But then we're going to dive into it. And then the second half of the class, we're going to do a writing prompt in response to it, right? So and that will be not the prompt for the final, of course. I'm not going to give you the prompt for the final. But I will give you a prompt to this article so that we can practice on the second half. We'll do the workshop together with Victor and me. We'll split us up and do that. And we will work together on doing that. So that way you will know the article and the experience of at least responding to a prompt related to the article, so that you'll have a little bit, when you encounter the prompt for the final exam, you'll have some familiarity with it. And that'll be it. You know, then our semester will be done, and then we'll have the final exam, which will be on this article. This Martin Luther King, The Three Ways of the Oppressed, is the article for the final exam. It's not going to be a different article. You're not going to open the folder and find a whole new article. You'll find the article that you've read, that we studied together, and that you've practiced with. And then what will be different is the question that you will respond to write your essay. And then that will become live at midnight on December 15th, and it'll be open and active up until Tuesday, December 21st. And at 11:59, that is the deadline. So please make sure you do it soon, you do it early. There's no late, there's no makeup for the final exam. You have to do it within that week. You can do it sooner. You can do it on the 16th. No, I know you love doing things fast. So if you want to get it in early, you'll be done with it. You'll be finished. Excellent. But don't wait till the end, because if you wait till the end, deadline is over, I cannot grade it. Okay. So that's what we have. So I'll see you next class. I'll hang out here for another minute or two if people have questions, but if not, have a great week. Thank you for your time, your patience, and always your attention. And thank you as well for those of you who've been doing the work and sticking with it. And those of you who have maybe been falling behind a little bit, here's an opportunity you have until the 14th of December to get all your work in. So, and on Friday, you'll get your report and we'll be on the same page, right? All right, thanks. We went over a little bit, so thank you for the extra time and the extra attention, and I'll see you all next week.
All right. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Professor.
Sure. Thank you, everyone. I'm excited for next week's preparations, and definitely take the advice of starting early, and you can always end on time, but definitely start early, okay? So thank you, everybody, and excited for next week.
Great advice, Victor. Thank you. Have a good day, Samantha.
Professor?
Yes.
The only assignment for this week is the annotated bibliography, right? That's due on Thursday.
Correct.
All right. I'll see you next Tuesday, Professor.
All right, no, take care.
Okay, Professor. Happy holidays.
Thank you. I'll see you next week.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you. See you next week.